I still remember the exact moment my world came crashing down. I was standing in our kitchen in Chicago, holding a pregnancy test that wasn't mine, while my husband's voice cracked on the phone behind me saying, "We can't tell her yet." That single sentence destroyed everything I believed in. My name is Cindy, and this is the story of how my husband got my own sister pregnant and how my parents called it nothing more than a mistake. 8 years of marriage. That's how long I stood by Ryan. We met right after college in Chicago. He was charming, ambitious, always the life of every family gathering. I thought I had found my forever person. We built a beautiful home together in a quiet suburb just outside the city. I worked as a teacher at an elementary school, and he had a solid position at a downtown bank. Everyone around us said we were the perfect couple. My younger sister Lily used to tease me about how lucky I was. She was always around our house, helping with decorations, bringing over homemade cookies from Mom's kitchen, staying over on weekends. Our parents adored Ryan. They treated him like the son they never had. I wanted a baby more than anything in this world. For 3 years we tried. Doctor visits, medications, prayers at church, everything. Every month when it didn't happen, I felt a piece of my soul break. Ryan would hold me and whisper, "God has a plan for us, babe, don't worry." I believed him with my whole heart. I trusted him completely. But looking back now, the signs were there all along. He started coming home late from so-called meetings. He became distant, always tired. Lily visited more often, sometimes even when I wasn't home. She would text him directly about family matters. I brushed it off as sisterly love. After all, she was my blood. How could I even think something so wrong? We had a family dinner every Sunday at my parents' house in the suburbs. Those evenings felt warm, laughter, home-cooked meals, endless coffee, old stories. My mother would say, "Cindy, you're so blessed. Ryan is such a responsible man." My father would pat Ryan's back proudly. I felt loved. I felt protected. But deep inside, something had started whispering that darkness was near. I could feel it in the way Ryan avoided my eyes sometimes. In the way Lily would quickly hide her phone when I walked into the room. That whisper turned into a storm on the day I found out. I came home early from school that day because I wasn't feeling well. The house was too quiet. Ryan's car was parked in the driveway and Lily's jacket was lying on the chair. I walked upstairs thinking maybe they were just chatting. But when I pushed open the bedroom door, my entire life stopped. There they were, my husband and my sister, together. The pain that hit me wasn't loud screams. It was a deep, crushing silence that swallowed me whole. I couldn't even cry out. I just stood there as Lily covered herself and Ryan jumped up, his face pale like a ghost. "Cindy, this isn't what it looks like," he said. Those weak words people always use when they've burned your world to ashes. Lily started crying. "Sis, please, it just happened." It just happened. For how many months? That night I learned the full bitter truth. It had been going on for almost 7 months. While I was praying for a child and tracking every cycle, they were betraying me. And the worst part, Lily was pregnant, 3 months along. I felt like someone had ripped my heart out and showed it to me still beating. I left the house that night and drove straight to my parents. I was shaking, broken, barely able to speak. I told them everything through tears. I expected them to be furious. I expected them to hold me and promise they would stand by my side. Instead, my mother looked at me with exhausted eyes and said, "Honey, these things happen sometimes. Men make mistakes." My father sighed deeply and added, "Think about the family, Cindy. Divorce isn't easy. What will people say?" They called it a mistake. A simple mistake. As if my sister carrying my husband's child was just a small accident. As if my pain, my dignity, my destroyed future was something I should simply forgive and forget for the sake of keeping the family together. The next few weeks became my personal hell. Ryan begged me every single day. He cried on his knees saying he was weak, that Lily had confused him, that he still loved only me. Lily sent long messages saying she never meant to hurt me, that she was lost. My parents kept pressuring me. "Forgive them, sweetheart, for the sake of family. Think about it at your age, starting over isn't easy." I felt completely alone in this world. The people who were supposed to protect me had chosen the ones who betrayed me. Every night I cried until my eyes burned. I stopped eating properly. I took leave from school because I couldn't face the world. The betrayal from Ryan and Lily cut me deeply, but my parents' reaction destroyed something inside me I didn't know could break. They made me feel selfish for being hurt. They made me feel crazy for wanting justice. But slowly, something inside me began to change. One night, after another call from my mother telling me to be the bigger person, I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were swollen. My face looked empty, and in that moment I decided I was done being the sacrifice. I was done being the good daughter who destroyed her own soul for family peace. That was my turning point. I stopped replying to their calls. I changed the locks on my house. I quietly hired a lawyer, but I knew that just getting a divorce wasn't enough. They had taken my trust, my marriage, my dreams of children, and my family's support. I needed to take my power back in a way they would remember forever. First, I focused on healing myself. I started seeing a therapist, not just crying sessions, real rebuilding. I began running in the park every morning, eating better, and slowly, I started smiling again. I returned to teaching with more passion than ever. My students became my reason to wake up. Then I started planning carefully. I knew Ryan feared nothing more than losing his reputation at the bank and in our social circle. Lily cared deeply about what people thought of her, the sweet, innocent sister. And my parents, they lived for their image as the perfect family in our community, so I used the truth as my weapon. I didn't shout or create a public scene. Instead, I wrote everything down calmly, clearly, with proof. I had saved the messages, the photos I later discovered, the medical reports. I created a private group chat with close relatives and a few respected family friends. I shared my story with dignity, without graphic details, but with full honesty. I told them how long it had been going on, how my parents had asked me to accept my husband's child with my sister as just a mistake. The reactions spread quickly. People who had stayed silent before began to speak up. Ryan's boss at the bank found out. He was quietly moved to a less important branch. Many family members started keeping their distance from him. Lily's pregnancy became known, and instead of sympathy, she faced whispers and questions everywhere she went. My parents felt embarrassed when friends started asking difficult questions at gatherings and church events. But I didn't stop there. I started a small anonymous blog where I shared my healing journey. Not naming anyone directly at first, but speaking about betrayal by a spouse and family. It touched many hearts quietly. Women from across the country began messaging me, saying they had suffered similar pain. I realized I was never alone. Some even reached out from Canada, sharing stories from Toronto and Vancouver. 6 months after I left, I filed for divorce. During the proceedings, I made sure the settlement was fair. I kept the house. Ryan had to pay a significant amount because of the emotional damage and the evidence I had. He fought it at first, but when more people turned against him, he agreed. Lily gave birth to a baby boy. I saw the pictures once through a relative. The baby had Ryan's eyes. It hurt for a moment, but then I felt only pity. She had lost her sister forever. She had lost respect in our circles. She had gained a child but lost her entire world. My parents tried reaching me many times. First with anger, then with guilt, and finally with apologies. My mother cried on one call saying she was wrong, that she should have supported her daughter. My father admitted they were scared of what people would say. I listened quietly, but I kept strong boundaries. Some wounds heal with time, but the scars teach you forever. The most peaceful moment came almost a year later. I had started seeing someone new, a kind, respectful man named David who worked in education just like me. He knew my full story and never judged. One evening, we were having dinner at a restaurant in downtown Chicago when Ryan saw us. The look on his face, the regret, the shame, the realization that I had rebuilt my life without him, that was my silent revenge. I didn't need to destroy him publicly. I just needed to rise higher. Today I am stronger than I have ever been. I still teach. I still go to church. But now I pray for my own peace too. I learned that family is not only blood. Family is who stands with you when you are broken. I learned that forgiveness is not weakness, but forgiving people who feel no remorse is. To every woman listening who has been betrayed by the ones she loved most, your pain is real. Your anger is valid. You do not have to accept cruelty wrapped in the word mistake. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to build a new life that is even more beautiful. I thought my story ended the day I found them together. But really, that was the day it truly began. The day I found my voice. The day I found my worth. And no one, not my husband, not my sister, not even my parents, can ever take that away from me again. Thank you for listening to my story with an open heart. If you have gone through something similar, know that you are not alone. Comment below. Share your thoughts. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming the woman they could never break.